ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमय यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आविश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। So we've been reading instructions of Narada to Yudhishthira from 15th chapter 7th canto, and he's been explaining these two paths, pravritti marg, nivritti marg, and how by one path one goes to the spiritual world, by one goes to the heaven and comes back. So in the commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti, he explained while referring to this dravya sukshma vipakasya dhumo ratri rapaksha ainam dakshinam somo darsha vasudhi viruta. So this is the process of going to heaven, how one goes to heaven after leaving the body if one has done proper yajna sacrifices. So in the commentary he has quoted from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, tasya hi etasya dvaitasya hridayasya agram pradyotate. So I just searched for this in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and there is a very long commentary on this. It's interesting process explained in the commentary by Shankaracharya. So maybe we can read. So this is Brihadaranyaka, 4th section, and this is the first part. fourth part of fourth section and first mantra. So it says, Sayatra ayam atma abalyam netya sammohamiva neti athena mete prana abhisamayanti sayetas tejo matra samabhyadadano hridayameva anvakramati sayatra isi chakshusha purusha param paryavartate atharupagyo bhavati. When the self becomes weak and senseless, as it were, the organs come to it, completely withdrawing these particles of light. It comes to the heart. When the presiding deity of the eye turns back from all sides, the man fails to notice color. So this is describing the death period, how the senses, they become weak at that time and then they withdraw inside.
So sight fails first?
Yeah. So then one is not able to see. Eyes gets closed. So this is the commentary. When the self, which is under consideration, becomes weak, really it is the body that becomes weak, but its weakness is figuratively spoken of as that of the self. The self does not become weak or strong, it is the body. For being formless, it can never by itself become weak. Similarly, it becomes senseless, as it were, that is, fails to discriminate. It cannot by itself be senseless or otherwise, for it is the eternal self-luminous consciousness. Hence the expression as it were. It's not really, but looks like it. The state of helplessness noticeable at the time of death, which is caused by the withdrawal of the organs here I think means the senses, is attributed by ordinary people to the self. So they say, oh, he has become senseless, means he has lost. Senseless here means become unconscious, not able to perceive anything. Or the expression as it were should be connected with both the adjectives, meaning becomes weak as it were and senseless as it were. For both states are alike due to extraneous limiting adjuncts, and both the verbs agree with the same subject. At this time, the organs such as that of speech come to it, the self. Then the self that is in the body is detached from the parts of the body. How does this detachment take place? And how do the organs come to the self? This is being answered. Completely withdrawing these particles of light. So that's what the senses are called. They are particles of light because they sense things. That is the organs such as the eye, so called because they reveal color itself. The adverb completely shows the distinction of this state from dream. So when we sleep and we dream, at that time also the senses withdraw inside. But at the time of death, they withdraw inside completely, means now they will not come back. So, gone once for all. So therefore he says that the word completely makes the distinction between dream state and the time of death. So, in which they are just drawn in, not absolutely. That is in the dream state. As in this case, as is known from such passages as the organ of speech is absorbed, the eye is absorbed. So this came earlier. He takes away a little of this all-embracing world, the waking state, and taking the shining function of the organs with him, it comes to the heart. That is the ether in the lotus of the heart. In other words, its intelligence is manifested in the heart. The withdrawal in question is attributed to the self simply because the activities of the intellect and so forth are at rest. The Atman by itself cannot move or undergo such changes as the stopping of activities, for it has been said it thinks as it were and shakes as it were. So this was in the previous chapter. It is through its limiting adjuncts such as intellect that all changes are attributed to the self. So only because it connects to the chitta, to the mind, then the changes are attributed, otherwise Atma is avikarya, achintyayam avikarya uchyate. When does it withdraw the particles of light? This is being answered. The presiding deity of the eye, literally the being associated with the eye, who is part of the sun, being directed by the experiencer's past work. So this is where the karma comes into action. So the karma which one has performed, that's what guides them. So this is what past work means. So being directed by the experiencer's past work goes on helping the functions of the eye as long as he lives, but he ceases to help the eye and is merged in his own self, the sun, when the man is about to die. So our eyes see because there is some part of sun in it. The tongue tastes because there is a part of water in it. The ears hear because there is a part of space in it. Similarly, the nose smells because there is a part of earth in it. So at the time of death, when the senses withdraw, then the presiding deities, they leave it. And the presiding deity of earth, water, fire, air, ether and other senses, they all sit in the senses and then only they function. So therefore it says that it merges back into the sun, because the sun is actually the presiding deity. So he ceases to help the eye and is merged in his own self, the sun, when the man is about to die. This has been stated in the passage, when the vocal organ of the dead man has been merged in fire, the vital force in Vayu, the eye in the sun, etc. So this also came in the last chapter, how they live. They will again occupy their respective places when the man takes another body. So when we have our body functioning, then the presiding deities of the senses, they are sitting in them and make them function. When it is time for death, then they leave. This double phenomena takes place when a man is fast asleep and when he wakes up. So when he is fast asleep, then also the senses go inside, and then when he wakes up, then they come. This is expressed by the text, when the presiding deity of the eye turns back from all sides. The dying man fails to notice color. So in Ayurveda and some of the Puranas, they have given symptoms of death. Prescient death means somebody is going to die 1 week, 15 days, 1 month. So they have given certain symptoms. Means dying natural death, not by some accident. So there it is mentioned that how the person he slowly loses the sense of color.
So here color specifically is meant?
No, that is referring to the other.
What is meant here? Color or vision in general?
Color.
So you see things but they're colorless?
Yeah, so you cannot identify them properly.
But you still see objects?
Yeah. It is described like that. And the sun or moon, they look like as if there is not enough light. So vision becomes blurred. At this time the self completely withdraws the particles of light, the eye and other organs, as in the dream state. So now this is the second mantra, and it is from here that Vishwanath Chakravarti has quoted. So it says, Eki bhavati na pashyati iti ahu, Eki bhavati na jigrati iti ahu, Eki bhavati na rasyate iti ahu, Eki bhavati na vadati iti ahu, Eki bhavati na shnoti iti ahu, Eki bhavati na tanute manute iti ahu, Eki bhavati na sprishati iti ahu, Eki bhavati na vijanati iti ahu. Tasya hai tasya hridayasya agram pradyotate tena pradyotena esha atma nishkramati chakshushto va murdhno va anyabhyo va sharira deshebhya tamutkramantam prano anutkramati pranamutkramantam sarve prana anutkramanti savigyano bhavati savigyanameva anvakramati tam vidya karamni samanvarabhete puru pragyaja. It's a very important mantra, and he's given a very nice elaborate explanation of this. The eye becomes united with the subtle body, then people say he does not see. The nose becomes united again with the subtle body, understood. Then they say he does not smell. The tongue becomes united with the subtle body, then they say he does not taste. Then the vocal organs become united, then they say he does not speak. When the ear becomes united, then they say he does not hear. The manas becomes united, then they say he does not think. When the skin becomes united, then they say he does not touch. The intellect becomes united, then they say he does not know. The top of the heart brightens. This is the important part. So top of the heart brightens. Through that brightened top the self departs. So then all the senses go inside the heart region. And as he will explain, top of the heart here actually refers to some specific nerve. Because there are 72,000 nerves coming out. Very subtle. You cannot see them by anatomy.
And senses, the order they are listed in correspond to the order they leave the body?
Yeah. So then that brightens up, and through that it leaves. Through the brightened top of the self, through that brightened top the self departs. And now it can depart through different orifices in the body. It can go through the eye, through the nose, through the ears, and correspondingly it will go to a different place, birth. So if someone goes down, means going to become an animal.
And for yogis it goes
go up. So he says, through that brightened top the self departs, either through the eye or through the head or through any other part of the body. When it departs, the vital force follows. When the vital force departs, all the organs follow, means the senses. Because in the subtle body, the life airs, senses, mind, intellect, they all go together. The self. Then the self has particular consciousness and goes to the body which is related to that consciousness. This is what Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam teste ante kalevram tam tam evete konte sada tad bhavam bhaveta. It is followed by knowledge, work and past experience. So that means the person's karma goes along with him. And knowledge is that which gives him the consciousness. So that consciousness leads and karma goes, and then it gets into another body. Of course, getting into another body is not immediate. It next time. So now he has this commentary. Every organ becomes united with the subtle body. So all the senses, they contract inside, and they contract once for all. They are not going to come out. In case of deep sleep also they'll go in, but then they come out. So this is absolute coming back. So every organ becomes united with the subtle body of the dying man. Then people at his side say of him, he does not see. Similarly, when on the withdrawal of its presiding deity, the nose becomes united with the subtle body, they say he does not smell. The rest is to be similarly explained. So one by one, the presiding deity leaves, the sense goes into the subtle body. The moon or Varuna is the deity of the tongue. When he stops functioning, they say he does not taste. Similarly, they say that he does not speak, hear, think, touch, know. This means that at the time the presiding deity ceases to work, and the organs are united in the heart. So this is the subtle body with its seat in the heart. That's where the subtle body is. What takes place in the body after the organs have been united in the heart is now being stated. The top of the heart mentioned above, that is of the orifice of the heart, its top here means the nerve end, which is the exit for the self. So that brightens. As in the dream state, its own lustre due to the drawing in of the organs being revealed by its own light as the Atman. Through that top brightened by the light of the Atman, the individual self with the subtle body as its limiting adjunct departs. So that's how Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that taking all of them together, he leaves Ghanam, Shotram, Chaksham. So the Atma leaves with all of them. As the Prashna Upanishad puts it, on whose departure must I depart and on whose stay I must stay, he projected the vital force. In the subtle body, the self-effulgent intelligence of the Atman is always particularly manifest. The consciousness is there. It is because of this limiting adjunct that the self comes under relative existence, involving all such changes as birth and death, going and coming. The 12 organs, including the intellect, consist of it. It is the sutra, the life and the inmost self of the movable and immovable universe. So sutra here does not mean like the Vedanta Sutra. That sutra here is a material element, like Mahat Tattva. So this is a modification of Prakriti with predominance of Rajas in it. Predominance of Sattva gives Mahat Tattva, predominance of Rajas gives Sutra, and predominance of Tamas gives Ahankara. There are three things, and from those come the other things. So that's the Sutra. As the self departs with the help of the light at the top of the heart, by which way does it leave the body? Through the eye. If it has a store of work or relative knowledge, that would take it to the sun. So store of knowledge and work means his past karma. So if his past karma is to go to the sun planet, then it will leave through the eye. If it has store of work or relative knowledge, that would take it to the sun, or through the head if they are such as would entitle it to go to the world of Hiranyagarbha. So if it has to go to Brahmaloka, then it goes through the head. Or through any other part of the body. So if it has to go to Varunaloka, then it goes there. So different systems are here. Planetary system, all in this body. According to its past work and knowledge. So according to the karma and according to knowledge means according to the consciousness. That's how it is. When the individual self departs for the next world, that is when it has the intention to go there, the vital force follows like the Prime Minister of a king. And when the vital force departs, all the organs such as that of speech follow. This simply denotes conformity to their respective leaders, not that the vital force and the organs go one after the other, as it happens in a party. It's not like that. Then the self has particular consciousness, as in dream, in consequence of its past work, past karma, not independently. So one cannot say that, well, at the time of death I will think of this and then I can go there. No, it all depends on past karma. Therefore Krishna says, tam eveti konteya sada tad bhava bhavita. That being influenced by that always, that particular consciousness which you are maintaining when you are living, so that also becomes manifest at that time. Because this is not a consciousness, it is not a question of consciousness here that when you are just before dying, it is actually when you are leaving, because consciousness is still there inside. Externally the person has become unconscious, but inside the consciousness is there, and what is the consciousness? That will be according to the karma. So basically it is the karma which means. Unless of course one is able to chant Krishna's name as it happened with Ajamila, then something happened, but that's very rare if one has not practiced. So therefore it says not independently. And this is Shankaracharya saying, he is actually an Advaitvadi. If it had this consciousness independently, everybody would achieve the end of his life. It means everybody could attain moksha. If this was independent of your karma, then you can say, well, I want to be liberated. It's not independent. But it never has that. Hence Vyasa says, a man attains whatever he thinks of at the moment of death, if he has always been imbued with that idea. So this Vyasa says, this is from Gita, Gita 8.6. As a matter of fact, everybody has at that moment a consciousness which consists of impressions in the form of particular modifications of his mind regarding the next life that are induced by his past karma. So your past karma means the karma you have performed in this life, and of course from previous one. You have to turn it on. So as a matter of fact, everybody has at that moment a consciousness which consists of impressions in the form of particular modifications of his mind. So our actions, they are influencing our awareness also. If you do good deeds, bad deeds, that have influence on our awareness, and that is the awareness which will manifest at the time of death, influenced by our deeds, and goes to the body which is related to that consciousness. And that consciousness, that particular consciousness will lead you to a particular body that is revealed by that particular consciousness. Therefore, in order to have freedom of action at the time of death, those aspirants after the future life who have faith above should be alert in the practices of the system of yoga and right knowledge and in the acquisition of particular merit by doing good deeds. So means one has to do the sadhana here while living. Then only you can have proper consciousness at the time of death. All the sacred books also carefully seek to dissuade man from doing evil, for nothing can be done at the dying moment. Since there is no independence, then for the man who is carried away by his past karma. So at the time of death there is no independence to act. So there is no injunction to do this, to do that at the death. That time your consciousness will manifest according to what you have practiced. It has been said, one indeed becomes good through good work and evil through the evil work. Brihadaranyaka 3.13. The aim of the Upanishads in all the recensions is to prescribe remedies for this evil. There is no other way to eradicate this evil completely except by following the course laid down by them, the Upanishads. Therefore, all should try to practice the remedies prescribed by the Upanishads. This is the gist of the whole passage. Why this whole process is being described here, the departure of the soul from the body, so that you can learn and then act accordingly. Therefore Krishna says that those who know these two paths, they become liberated. So knowing means that you know and you have belief in them, then you will not act wrongly. That is the meaning. Not that I know, okay, there is a path of darkness and path of light and now I am liberated. That's not the meaning. It has been stated that the departing self loaded with materials goes making noises like a cart, because he is carrying a lot of weight around him, all the subtle body, all the karma, vidya, knowledge, everything. So it makes a lot of noise like cart with the wheel which have not been oiled. So charak chum. You see na, bullock cart moving with the wooden wheels, makes sound like that. Now as it starts for the next world, what is its food on the way or for consumption on reaching that world, corresponding to the carter's load, and what are the materials for building its new body and organs? Question. The answer is being given. The self journeying to the next world is followed by knowledge of all sorts, that which is enjoined or forbidden, as well as that which is neither enjoined or forbidden, also work enjoined or forbidden, and neither enjoined nor forbidden, and past experience. So enjoined and forbidden, etc. talks about the trivial things which you have done in your life, because there is knowledge which is coming from Shastra, there is knowledge from so many other things, and there are actions which you have performed according to Shastra or avoided because Shastra says for not to do that, and then there are other things you have done. So experience of that also goes with you. So this is the meaning, this is the food, this is the cart which is carrying and making noise, that's the meaning. So this food means all these impressions Knowledge, where does knowledge reside? Nyaya says in the Atma. So that's the meaning that knowledge goes. Here Upanishad says that it is in the subtle body, not in the Atma. So that knowledge also goes in the form of imprints.
But which knowledge? Material, spiritual?
Both. Both good. That's why some people are born, they are genius. They become very good music or some play or some game because they have done it in the past, and that knowledge, that experience also comes with them. They can learn very quickly because those samskaras or imprints are already there. So some people study Bhagavad Gita, they memorize it just like that. Other people are trying, working very hard, cannot memorize 5 slokas. So why is that? It's because of the previous practice. So it goes. So that's why it says that even these things, forbidden, enjoined, not forbidden, all this means both types of knowledge. That's what it means. So both work. And past experience, the impressions of experiences regarding the results of past actions. So these are the samskaras. These impressions take part in initiating fresh actions, as also in bringing past actions to fruition. Hence they too accompany. So they become the cause for further actions. So if you do one wrong thing, you create an impression, and then you carry that, and that impression will make you do more wrong thing. And that's how the chakra. This is the chakra business. You want to know what the chakra is? See the cycle. Without these impressions, no action can be done. Not possible. Nor any result of past actions be achieved. For the organs are not skillful in unpracticed work. Anything which you have not done in past few lives, it will be so difficult, you won't be able to do it. So, you do things for which you have already the impressions, then you can do easily. So that's why by seeing your present life, your present desires, present mindset, you can actually make an inference what you were in your past life. What can you do things easily and what you find very hard to do. From that you can understand what you have done in your past life. You don't have to do past life regression for that. So things you like, the music you like, the food you like, the type of people you like, the place you like, all these things have some bearing from the past. Why you like Vrindavan? It's not that suddenly you came here and you started liking it. It has something to do with the past. So therefore he says that.
I have a question about this because you said that both spiritual and material knowledge are carried like that, impressions, right?
Yeah.
But there must be some difference because material impression, they are related to body and senses.
The difference is that material impressions are related with material things and spiritual impressions are related with spiritual things.
Yes, but
material impression will make you like some material place and spiritual impression will make you like some spiritual place.
okay. And they are both stored in the same place, means in the material mind.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we doing devotional activities like devotional service chanting, but at the time of that, those seems like that this spiritual impression, the balance becomes like they increase, and the material impression they are destroyed.
depends on your sadhana.
It depends on the sun.
If you do properly, then that's what happens. Whatever you practice, if you practice material things, then the spiritual samskaras will be drowned. If you practice spiritually, then the material samskaras will be drowned.
Because it was under the impression I understood that.
So that's why it is said that have saintly association, live in a holy place, do sadhana. Because all these things are creating impressions. Wherever you go, you are creating impressions. Whomever you meet, you create impression. Whatever you speak, eat, think, they all create impression. So that's why they say that you are the maker of your own fate. So you make your fate. So without these impressions, no action can be done, nor any results of past actions be achieved, for the organs are not skillful in unpracticed work. But when the organs are prompted to work by the impressions of past experience, they can easily attain skill even without practice in this life. So Krishna says this in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that Purvabhyasena hriyate, and your previous practice, it draws you, pulls you to that thing, to yoga. So that is because of the impressions. It is frequently observed that some are clever in certain kinds of work, such as painting, from their very birth, even without practice in this life, while others are unskillful even in some very easy tasks. Similarly, in the enjoyment of sense objects also, some are observed to be naturally skillful or dull. All this is due to the revival or non-revival of past experience. Therefore, without past experience, we cannot understand how anybody can proceed to do any work or to enjoy the results of past work or past karma. Hence, these three, knowledge, work, and past experience, are the food on the way to the next world, corresponding to the load of the cart. So this is the load, this is the food which he carries. This is what will give him the new body and the environment where he will be born, the type of eyes you have, the type of hair you have, the type of nose you have, the color of your skin. All this is earned from the past, and you are born in this particular way. Since these three are the means of attaining another body and enjoying the results of one's past work, therefore one should cultivate only the good forms of them, so that one may have a desirable body and desirable enjoyments. This is the purport of the whole passage. And if you don't want a body, then there is a solution for that also. But if you want, then you can choose by acting accordingly. Now the question is, when the self loaded with knowledge etc. is about to go to another body, does it leave the old body and go to another, like a bird going to another tree? Or is it carried by another body, serving as a vehicle to that place where according to its past work it is to be born? Or does it stay here while the organs become all-pervading and function as such? Or is it that so long as it remains in the body, its organs are contracted to the limits of that, but when it dies they become all-pervading like the light of a lamp when the enclosing jar is broken, and contract again when a new body is made? Or as in the Vaisheshika system, Does only the mind go to the place where the new body is to be made, or is there any other theory in the system of Vedanta? So many options. So he says, how does it work? It's quite beautiful. Because these are all different possibilities. So this is being answered.
I can imagine the disciple sitting and or this, or that, and then all the answers.
And he's writing this on the bark of a tree. So we know from the Shruti text, these are all equal and all infinite. 1, 5, 13. That is, that the organs are all comprising in their form relating to the gods. Another reason for this is their resting on the vital force which is all comprising. Their limitation with reference to the body and the elements as color etc. is due to work, knowledge and past impressions of men. Therefore, though the organs are naturally all pervading and infinite, since the body is made in accordance with the person's work, knowledge and past impressions, the functions of the organs also contract or expand accordingly. As it has been said, equal to a white ant, equal to a mosquito, equal to an elephant, equal to the three worlds, equal to this universe. This is 1:3:22. It is also supported by the following: he who meditates upon these as infinite, and one who becomes exactly as one meditates upon him. Therefore, the impressions called past experience under the control of the person's knowledge and work stretch out like a leech from the body, retaining their seat in the heart as in the dream state, and build another body in accordance with his past work. They leave their seat, the old body, when a new body is made, and illustration on this point is being given. Essentially the process of how the Atma, the self, leaves the body at the time of death and carries along with it the subtle body, the karma, experience, knowledge, and based on that gets into another body, makes another body from this material only. So this is what is being described in Bhagavatam in a very short way, just one sloka he is saying.
So this moving from one body to the next, the soul is kind of not able to move, so that it needs a care. And this is the subtle mind. But then this limited body and entering the next body is something that happens like in a sequence, or
Sequence means
that as soon as the soul starts to go out from the old body, let's say, and the function of that old body, they are reduced and they are withdrawn. Let's say that the eyes they don't see anymore.
yeah, then he gets another body.
Immediate.
Yeah, but that immediate bodies need not be like this physical gross body.
Okay.
It could be a heavenly body, it could be a hellish body. So if you have to go to hell, then you get one type of body that is called ativahika, so that you can suffer and you don't die. They can put you in a boiling cauldron of oil. You feel suffering like you can feel in the dream, like that, but you don't, just like in the dream they can throw you into a boiling pot of oil and you are suffering but you don't die.
Not perishable.
Yatana sharir. So you just so that you feel that suffering.
Okay, but the question again is, when I'm going to leave this body, I step out and I step in the next dimension. That's like a sequence of things.
Yeah. You get into another one.
You get immediately into something.
But,
Sometimes I was thinking, how is possible? You know, when these people are hanging there in coma, for example, they stay there in this particular body, but they don't move out.
because they are still conditioned by this body. So when the karma is over in this body, then they will leave.
So they have to wait.
And it's like we are waiting in this body, they are also waiting in their body. What are we doing? Only thing is that we are acting and they are not acting. And the process is same. And when you leave, depending on where you go, then if you have to go to sun planet, you will get a corresponding body. As I said, if you leave through the eye, you go to sun. So if you leave through the nose, you go to the Vayu Loka. Then you get a body like that. Varuna. So correspondingly you go there, you get a body. And then when you stay there, and according to your karma, and you come back again, that's how do you come back, that is also described.
So there are 9 doors in the body, and each door goes a different direction.
Devotee goes to Vaikuntha. It doesn't matter. Vaikuntha is everywhere. Vaikuntha is not a limited place. So nattasya prana utkramanti. For him it's not the process.
By which means, if we should try to find out where we were before, so by which means we should do it?
That's what I'm saying. If you study your own mind, then you can understand where you were.
And that's study of mind through Shastras?
No, by observing your mind. What is your own nature? If your nature is very charitable, helping others' welfare, if it is, then you must have come from heaven. If your nature is being very envious, jealous, exploiting, then you must come from hell. So if you know the nature of different places, then you must compare what is your nature, and you know from where you came.
It's difficult to find out because there's a mixture of everything.
Yeah, so you may be coming from different places, visiting many places. Because there are also Rakshasas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, these are all places. Pitriloka, Varun Loka, Chandra Loka, Surya Loka, so many.
As you say, like better not to do regressions, for example.
Yeah.
So this is
no need to do regression, do progression.
Yeah.
So it seems also that the path how to live out and to reach the particular place is also related with the functioning of the senses, like the aspects, for example, the eye, the nose, for the air, the nose, for the water.
Yeah, because these are all related with the consciousness. Okay.
Actually, there are hypnosis called progression.